Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Hare Bol.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So good to have you. Hare Krishna. Let's do the Mangla Charan and then we shall resume back with our session. Hare Krishna. And we are here. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanajnanशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुन् श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथवितं तं सजीवम् साधुवैतं सवादूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण पादां सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखावितं च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते ताप्त कांचा गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे की जय सामने भक्तवृंद की जय 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 श्री राधे हरे कृष्ण dear devotees so good to have you all hare krishna Prabhuji. Hare krishna hare hare Bol. Hare krishna Jai Ji. Hare Bol. So good to have you all it's such a beautiful devotee congregation सभी भक्त का स्वागत है अभिषेक जी आज तो आपके दर्शन भी हो रहे हैं हरि हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण so as most of you know we do in English and Hindi तो हम English हिंदी दोनों में ही करते हैं feel free आप वर्चुअल हैंड रेज कर सकते हैं चैट में मैसेज भेज सकते हैं कभी भी अपने आप को अनम्यूट करके कोई भी पॉइंट के ऊपर हम डिस्कशन कर सकते हैं so good to have all of your association what we are doing we are in the discussion for Goloka chart. So we have the material world and then we have a spiritual world. In a spiritual world, there are hundreds and thousands of Vaikuntha. But then we have only one Goloka Vrindavan. So in Goloka Vrindavan, that's where we are focusing and then we are coming down from spiritual to material world. तो भौतिक संसार है गोलोका चार्ट में और आध्यात्मिक है अध्यात्म में सैकड़ों अनगिनत वैकुंठ है वैकुंठ से ऊपर हमारे गोलोक धाम है जो सिर्फ एक ही है जहां पे कृष्ण भगवान स्वयं अपने रूप में है तो हम अध्यात्म से नीचे आएंगे धीरे धीरे भौतिक संसार की तरफ and this is what we're discussing so far what we have already discussed spiritual and material worlds Devi Dham material world then Shivloka which is in the transition when we will see it again Hari Dham which we call Vaikuntha Hari is usually for Vishnu Bhagwan and then Brahman in effulgence of the Lord impersonal And then we have Ayodhya for Lord Rama. Then we have Goloka Vrindavan for Krishna. So हम नीचे से देख सकते हैं मटीरियल वर्ल्ड है, देवी धाम हम कहते हैं क्योंकि देवी की 3 प्रकृति यहाँ पे काम करती हैं। फिर शिव जी महेश धाम के अंदर हैं, जो कि जब हम स्पिरिचुअल से अध्यात्म से भौतिक की तरफ आएंगे तब हमको बीच में मिलते हैं। और ब्रह्मन जो कि भगवान का, जिसको हम सगुण और निगुण कहते हैं, तो निर्गुण भगवान का कोई रूप नहीं है, भगवान की जो शक्ति जो एनर्जी है वहां पे हम ब्रह्मन की बात करते हैं और ब्रह्म ज्योति की बात करते हैं। उससे ऊपर हरिधाम, वैकुंठ धाम, और ये वैकुंठ बहुत है, अलग अलग है। और फिर अयोध्या जहाँ पे भगवान राम है, और फिर जिसको हम साकेत भी कहते हैं, जिसके ऊपर गोलोक धाम। तो अभी तक जो हमने किया, anyone has any question on anything, वो we have already covered। किसी का भी कोई प्रश्न अभी तक हमने जो चीजें डिस्कस की हैं? हरी हरी
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Yes, it is said that if you are lucky enough and you are going to the Goloka Vrindavan, it said that somebody told that you should not look at other dhamas, otherwise you will land up in Vaikuntha or in Ayodhya instead of your own destination.
Yes, yes, yes. That's right. So true. And Abhishek ji has been reading recently. Abhishek ji, आप कहना चाहेंगे? I think आप लघु भागवतम पढ़ रहे हैं और आपने उसके अंदर एक बहुत अच्छा वर्णन है गोपाल। So Mataji, to answer your question, yes, there is a separate session. We will plan. Laghu Bhagavatam is a beautiful. So Laghu Bhagavatam is from Raghunath Goswami ji, and Laghu Bhagavatam is from Sanatan Goswami. They both are the topmost Vaishnavas of Vrindavan. They were obviously associated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are the direct disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in their, so this comment usually comes from their Shastras, where one of the devotee went to different places, like what Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj did. Radhanath Swamiji Maharaj just had the calling from Krishna, and he was trying different venues, different options available, including many major established organized religions. And then, similar way, this character did the same. And then right at the end, we reached the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, he went to different places, like he went to Saket, from Ayodhya, he went to Vaikuntha. And the same question was there in his mind when he asked that should I stay here or should I move on? Was he content there that I'm happy where I am now? Or should it be another place? And that's such a nice. This is why exactly you asked that should we stay here, Vaikuntha, or at Lord Ram's place, or should we move to Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan? Now, the answer to that is that it says, Acharyas tell us again and again through the medium of scriptures that we all have eternal place in a spiritual world. Now, I don't know where is my place. So my place could be in Vaikuntha, my place could be in with Narsimha Dev, my place could be with Lord Rama, my place could be with Goloka Dham. So similarly, each one of us, we got a place up there in a spiritual world, not necessarily in Goloka Dhama. Okay. So what should be our calling? That yes, Krishna, we will come back to you, but then in service of Krishna, because they all are Krishna's forms, part and parcels, different extensions. So whichever extension Krishna would like us to engage in devotional service, we will be happy. Yeah. Just like this. It's in real time, what happens, like Srila Prabhupada ji did. Srila Prabhupada ji had devotees. And recently somebody got initiated and Prabhupada ji said, okay, very good, do this. And Prabhupada ji very, very quickly realized that this devotee is great. Then Prabhupada ji said that go to Russia. And that devotee said, Prabhupada ji, I'm your disciple, I want your association, I want to stay with you. And then Prabhupada ji said, okay, just think about it. What's more important for you, to stay with me or to follow my instruction? And then that devotee left Prabhupada and went. And Srila Prabhupada himself, he did not get a lot of association from his spiritual master. But whatever he received and all the following all the instructions, they they were very close to him. So the devotional service for the Lord is the main, wherever Lord will take us.
Yes.
Wherever, whether Lord will say, okay, do in India, do in China, do in Russia, do in Pakistan. Yes, there was a time when somebody said to Srila Prabhupada ji that in Pakistan, you said everywhere on the planet we have devotees, but in Pakistan we don't have devotees. And Prabhupada ji just turned to another devotee who was next to it, and he said, do we have devotees in Pakistan? And he said, I don't think. And Prabhupada ji said, okay, we are sending devotees to Pakistan. Yes. And then devotees went to Pakistan. My daughter is at the back, she's laughing. But this is real scenarios, one of those anecdote of Prabhupada. So to answer to your question, Mataji, that Goloka Dham is the best place to be. But where we should aspire, let's say we should aspire to be with Krishna, but then wherever Krishna will dedicate our service, we should be happy with.
Yeah. Okay.
So, as we say, being the servant of Krishna, we are beggars and we are begging for devotional service, and beggars are not users.
No.
So we should not do this. But okay, and I have actually done this recently because, as you know, from the manor, I'm doing some services. So apart from already some service, another service came up. And then it was very hard to say no to that service. You would like to serve, but then you don't have time to serve because another service is going to come which you have already promised. So now somehow you got to say that I have already taken or promised that service. So sorry, at this moment I won't be able to do this service. So what we aspire is different thing, but what we get is different. So whatever we get, we should be happy, and that's what devotees do.
Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. तो वेरी ब्रीफली इन हिंदी, माता जी ने एक बहुत ही अच्छा प्रश्न पूछा और फिर हम नीलम माता जी के पास चलेंगे। माता जी ने बहुत ही अच्छा क्वेश्चन पूछा कि क्या हमको, जैसे गोलोका धाम में हम देखते हैं अध्यात्म के अंदर बहुत सारे अलग अलग हैं, वैकुंठ हैं, साकेत धाम है, तो क्या हमको गोलोका धाम जाने की ही कोशिश करनी चाहिए, कहीं और हम अगर हो तो वहां पे हमें नहीं रहना चाहिए, क्या मूड होना चाहिए डिवोटी का? तो आचार्य यही कहते हैं कि हम सबका एक नित्य इटर्नल एक प्लेस है, कोई भी स्वरूप जो भी हमारा है, जरूरी नहीं है हम वहां पे इस बॉडी के साथ में हो, ये तो एनीवेज हमारी आध्यात्म की बॉडी नहीं है, भौतिक है, लेकिन वहां पे हो सकता है कि हम पक्षी हो सकता है कि हम जानवर हो, जो भी हमको कहीं पे भी सर्विस मिलेगी आध्यात्म के अंदर, हम उसके अंदर ही हमें खुश रहना चाहिए। तो हमें कोशिश करनी चाहिए, हमें इंस्पायर होना चाहिए कि हम जाएंगे गोलोका धाम, पर हम आध्यात्मिक जगत में, स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में जहाँ पे भी कृष्णा हमको रखें, हमको वहाँ पे खुश रहना चाहिए। और जैसे हमने बात करी कि हनुमान जी हैं, हनुमान जी लॉर्ड राम को छोड़ के कहीं और नहीं जा सकते क्योंकि उनका मूड मिशन लॉर्ड राम के लिए ही है। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि जो गोपियां हैं वो कोई हनुमान जी से ज्यादा बढ़कर हो गई क्योंकि वो डायरेक्ट कृष्णा के संपर्क में है, नहीं, क्योंकि जो सेवा भाव हनुमान जी के अंदर है वो बहुत ऊंचा है और उसका किसी से कोई कंपैरिजन नहीं हो सकता। ये हम सबका कृष्णा के साथ में अपना अपना पर्सनल रसा का एक्सचेंज है। उसमें हमने बहुत सारे एग्जांपल्स देखे, जैसे कि प्रभुपाद जी ने अपने भक्तों को कहा कि भाई आप कहीं और चले जाएं सेवा करने के लिए, रशिया चले जाएं, चाइना चले जाएं, लेकिन प्रभुपाद जी के साथ ही वो लोग रहना चाहते थे। तो उनको डिसीजन था कि या तो प्रभुपाद जी की बात सुने या प्रभुपाद जी के साथ रहें। तो इस तरीके से भक्त मेन यही करते हैं कि जो उनको भक्ति में लगे रहने के लिए सेवा मिलती है उसके अंदर वो खुश रहते हैं। So, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hari Bo. And Neelam Mataji, please.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु, दंडवत।
दंडवत माताजी।
हरे कृष्णा। मैं पूछ रही थी कि एक भगवान की 3 शक्तियां होती है क्या, संवित शक्ति, संदिनी शक्ति और आराधनी शक्ति?
हाँ जी माताजी, बिल्कुल।
अच्छा, इनमें कुछ अंतर होता है? सच्चिदानंद ऐसा कुछ सुना है मैंने।
के अंदर माता जी बहुत अंतर होता है तीनों के लिए, और ये हम
डिस्कस
करेंगे माता,
करेंगे क्या?
ये हम
ठीक है,
डिस्कस करेंगे। हमने
ठीक है।
ब्रीफली डिस्कस किया था जब हमने गोलोका चार्ट के अंदर, अगर गोलोका चार्ट आपके पास है तो राइट हैंड साइड में नीचे जो
वो नहीं मिला मुझे।
नहीं मिला तो माता जी आप मेरे को अगर मैसेज करेंगे तो मैं आपके साथ में शेयर कर सकता हूँ। गोलोका चार्ट होना चाहिए। आप अगर इंडिया में हैं तो कहीं पे भी टेम्पल में आप ले
मैं
सकते हैं
जून
हमारे।
टेम्पल पे भेजा था लेने, तो बोलता है कि दुकान बंद रहती है, कोरोना है, पता नहीं क्या करते हैं वो लोग, खोलते भी नहीं है दुकान।
ओके ओके ओके। माता जी
हाँ,
अभी आई थिंक डिलीवरी भी होती है वहां पे, मुझे मालूम
अच्छा,
नहीं कि हाँ जी
ऑनलाइन,
कि
ठीक है।
जी ऑनलाइन। वैसे तो 300 रुपीज का वहां पे होता था, अब मेरे को
अच्छा,
मालूम नहीं कितने का होगा, लेकिन एक लेके आप दीवार पे सामने लगा के रखें तो बहुत
हाँ
कुछ
वो
होते हैं।
जरूरी है।
जी
हाँ,
टिप्स होते हैं
एक
बच्चे
और
होते हैं।
प्रश्न है मेरा, एक और
जी,
प्रश्न है।
जी,
जैसे हम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, और हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, ये इस
हाँ
प्रकार
जी
अपना महामंत्र बोलते हैं। तो
हाँ जी।
इसमें जो हरे राम जब बोलते हैं, तो ऐसा हो सकता है क्या कि हम राम जी का नाम ले रहे हैं तो साकेत धाम में चले जाएंगे?
नहीं माता जी ऐसा तो नहीं होगा, क्योंकि होगा क्या, हम हरे कृष्णा, अगर ऐसा हो भी जाए, देखिए मेन वही है कि हम
हाँ,
जाएंगे वहीं जहाँ पे हमारी सेवा है। अगर हम चले भी
सही
जाएं तो हमको ये नहीं होना चाहिए, मतलब अगर
है।
हनुमान जी के साथ में सेवा करने का मौका मिले तो वो भक्त का
तो बहुत
कंपैरिजन।
बढ़िया बात है। हाँ जी, हरी बोल।
तो हाँ जी, पर जो राम है वो लॉर्ड राम के लिए भी है और वो बलराम के लिए भी है, लेकिन हम दोनों को
अच्छा,
देखें तो दोनों ही कृष्णा की शक्ति है। तो
हाँ,
जब हम करते हैं तो मेन ये होता है कि हमारा मूड क्या है, हम सोच क्या रहे हैं, क्या हमारा कॉन्शियसनेस जो है वो भगवान कृष्ण की तरफ है, उनसे जो सेपरेशन है उसके थ्रू है। हाँ, अगर उस टाइम हम भगवान राम की लीलाओं के बारे में सोच रहे हैं तो फिर बिल्कुल भगवान राम के पास ही जाना होगा, लेकिन वो
सही है, सही
हरे कृष्ण।
है। हाँ, हरी बोल, हरी,
हरे
हरी,
so
थैंक यू।
हरे कृष्ण। So what Mataji said, Mataji asked two things. First thing, Krishna has three different forms, not forms in the form of energy: internal, external, and marginal. And then within them, we have different, like Radhaji, we always say Halnani. Then we did discuss briefly, but we will discuss them again at some point. And then the second thing Mataji said regarding if when we say Mahamantra, then we have Hare, Krishna, and Rama. So there are three words there. So Mataji was saying that if when we say Hare Rama, so will we end up in Golok, in Saket Dham, in Ayodhya with Lord Rama? So again, the very first thing, that even if we will end up there, that's a great service, because the idea is to get to the spiritual world within the devotional service. So if we could do that devotional service in Ayodhya, then that's we cannot ask for anything else. Hari Bol. And so wherever we were, we will what we can reinstate. So it's like for some reason we have fallen through from spiritual world to material world. When we will go back to spiritual world, we will go back where we were. And of course, our devotional services can change there. So, but we will go back wherever we were, and then based on Krishna's Leela, wherever he would like when he came down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji, a lot of devotees from his dham, they came down with him to do the Leela, and then they all went back. So similar thing happens. So even if we have to go back, wherever we have to go back, we will go. So Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. So, okay, not Sita Ram. Abhishek ji has said something, that is Radhika Raman Ram, not Sita Ram. Hare Krishna. Yes. Yes. So, अभिषेक जी कह रहे हैं वही, जब हम हरे कृष्णा हरे रामा कहते हैं तो वो राम कौन है, तो उनके लिए उन्होंने कहा है कि वो राधिका रमन राम, जो हम कृष्ण भगवान को भी कहते हैं और बलराम जी के लिए भी हम कहते हैं। तो हरि हरि बोल। थैंक यू सो मच। सो वेयर वी वर, we started discussing, and I think we did discuss different divisions of Goloka. That's where we left last time. तो last time हमने छोड़ा कि गोलोका धाम में कौन कौन से अलग मुख्य रस हैं। तो उसमें हमने द्वारका जी देखी, मथुरा देखे, गोलोक देखे, नवदीप धाम देखे, और यहाँ हम समझ सकते हैं, ये हमने लास्ट टाइम देखा था कि बीच में जो गोलोका धाम है, फिर जो व्हाइट पेटल है ये हमारा नवदीप धाम है, जहाँ चैतन्य महाप्रभु जी की लीला होती है। जो व्हाइट एरिया है रेक्टेंगल के अंदर, ये इसको हम आज डिस्कस करेंगे। और फिर अगर आप रेक्टेंगल देखें, स्क्वायर है सॉरी आते हैं, इसको देखें तो रेड, लाइट ब्लू, डार्क ब्लू, तो इसके अंदर यहाँ पे मथुरा, जो मथुरा के अंदर रस है, फिर द्वारका के अंदर जो रस है, और बीच में जगन्नाथपुरी के अंदर जो रस है। और इसको हम दूसरे तरीके से जो समझते हैं वो यहाँ पे है कि डिफरेंट रसाज कहाँ पर हैं। तो जो जगह हैं, द प्लेसेस आर बेस्ड ऑन द रसाज. So Vrindavan is Vrindavan, Mathura is Mathura, based on the rasa of the devotees there. So Vaikuntha is there, and Dwarka is there, Mathura is there, Jagannath Puri is there, Goloka Dham is there. Different devotees have different rasas at that place. And if you think about, we also have similar thing in material world. If we are in the temple, we are in different mood. And the same time, if we'll go for a picnic with friends, we will have a different mood. So we are the same devotee, but where we are, we behave differently. We are in different moods. And this is what we trying to illustrate here. This is what we saw. Now, one thing it's I asked this question from Gaurang Darshan Prabhuji last week. So I forgot. I'm not sure if I discussed this. I think I didn't. Let me know if I did discuss it. So
you did discuss it, Prabhuji, but the answer you got was there. It is still under discussion. So Gaurang Prabhuji didn't give you the answer.
Yes. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yes, that question which I asked, and I said, he said the answer is still in discussion. So we will not discuss that. But there was another question I asked him. So I asked him that, Prabhuji, if we have so many, and if we see the way it looks like, because, and if we will go a bit further, Krishna is right in the middle. And in the middle, we have Madhurya Rasa. So it feels like the people, the devotees who are in Madhurya Rasa, they are much more closer to Krishna. It feels like. So he says, yes, in one way we can say yes. Then I said, Prabhuji, then Srila Prabhupada, why he requested us and he instructed all of us to be in Dasya Bhava? Because, for example, my name is VP Govinda Das. And all the initiated devotees in Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Math, they all are Dasa. They all get the initiated name. Right at the end, it says Dasa. So I asked the question that, why is that, Prabhuji? Why it says Dasa there? And the answer was that all these rasas, they are inclusive in Dasya. So when, for example, and I think I did mention that briefly, that if mother is there, the mother could be a friend of the child. Mother always have motherhood, right? So mother could become, well, a lot of time mother works, parents, all the parents, they are like servants to the kids. They always keep doing the things, cleaning their mess around. So, and of course they love very much and they want them to have everything in the world. So that's what Prabhuji said, that when we are in Dasya, when we take that lowest level, then we can always lift ourselves to the other ones and we can experience all of that. So this is what he said. And I thought I will share that, which is very deep, if in case once we try to understand and evaluate that why do we get Dasya Bhava. Of course, in this material world, it's very derogated word, Dasya, servant. If you will say, meet someone during book distribution on the road and say, oh, we all are servant of Krishna. And somebody who might be driving Mercedes is and say, what? I got it so much. And you are saying I'm a servant? So servant itself is a very, but again, servant like when we serve others in a volunteer service, when we parents serve the kids or kids serve parents, or the partners, they serve each other, especially when they need to, then that's a kind of service mood. It's not the service like what in material world we think of a servant when the service is very lower. No, it's not. And of course, Krishna says that I become the servant of my devotees. So there are many verses there when Krishna says that my mind is with my devotee's mind, that I become the servant of my devotee. And of course, Krishna did that with Bali Maharaj. when Bali Maharaj gave everything, and then Vaman Dev said that I still have the third step. Where shall I put it? And he folded his hands and he said, "You put it on my head." And then when he did it, and he said, "Okay, you have a lot of people, they give different things, but you have gifted yourself to me. I'm going to give you something which is even higher than Indraprastha. Like even the Indra doesn't have it." And then he gave him Sutal. That's one of the lower planets, but the glorifications of Sutal, and it's there in the Puranas, it's much, much bigger than Indra Puri. And then he says, "I will become your door man." So, and Krishna, it says Krishna in the form of Vaman Dev is always there with Bali Maharaj in his place, and a lot of places it happens. तो यहाँ पे हम यही समझ सकते हैं कि जो दास्य भाव होता है वो दास्य भाव में सारे के सारे आ जाते हैं, सारे बाकी रसास इंजॉय किए जा सकते हैं हमारे द्वारा और कृष्णा के द्वारा। माता जी ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है, what rasa is in white petal area, Prabhuji? Haribo. So Mataji, white is again full of dasya. Reason being that Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji came as devotee. And when he came as a devotee, so all the devotees, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji himself was initiated also. So Chaitanya is his initiated name. Otherwise, he had many names, like Nimai was one of his childhood names. Like Krishna had many names, but Krishna, of course, was when Krishna came, he came as the Lord. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji came, he came as the devotee. So if we follow his life, we can understand that how not only his life, but all the devotees around him. What's there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Bhagavatam, we can understand how devotees should live the life. Of course, it's very hard for us, especially in this modern life, because all Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji came around 500 years back. So it's very difficult for us. And but again, many like Rupa Goswamiji, Raghunath Das, they came from very rich families and they gave up everything. Now, of course, we can't really do it, especially if we have the families, but that's the ideal devotee life they led it. So we could say it's between Dasya Bhav, but always looking for the Madhurya Rasa. So where you can, from Dasya to Madhurya, all those rasas you can have it. Because a lot of devotees, they, especially Pushti Marg, they always have Vatsalya as well. But again, at the same time, they consider themselves as the servant of Krishna. But they have that. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Thank you. So moving on, we have discussed different petals here. Okay, and I'm going fast because we have done this. Yes, Shweta Deep. So this is what we left right at the end, nothing. And Rahul Prabhuji has says, are different pastimes are doing on different petals simultaneously? Yes, very good question. So if you go back, so Rahul Prabhuji has said, are different pastimes are going on different petals simultaneously? Yes. And if in case we think how that's possible, we had a couple of times, there are many more, but two of them I can think of right now, but very similar examples given in Bhagavatam. And one of the best one is when Narad Muniji went. So Krishna got married to 16,000 wives in one go. And then the Narad Muniji was bewildered. He said, now Krishna gave a little palace to everyone. And then Narad Muniji said, how Krishna could do this? That in the material world, Narad Muniji got a very unique role. Narad Muniji always, if we see the pattern, whenever he asks any question, in that the benefit of the people on material world is there. तो नारद जी जब भी कोई भगवान से प्रश्न पूछते हैं तो उसका अंडरलाइनिंग सिग्निफिकेंस ये होता है कि कैसे भौतिक संसार में भौतिक लोगों का फायदा हो, किस तरीके से उनका उद्धार हो। तो एक लीला जो आती है, उस लीला के अंदर भगवान कृष्ण ने जब 16,000 रानियों से एक बार में शादी करी थी, तो उस टाइम पे उन्होंने हर एक को एक एक महल दिया था. So Krishna gave one palace to each and every one. And then he thought that how come this is possible, that I can't do this. No one in the material world could do this. Then how come Krishna satisfies 16,000 wives? And then Naraji went in one palace and Krishna was doing something. Krishna was, let's say, playing with kids. Then he said, okay, Krishna is playing with kids. Let's see the second wife, how she is happy. Then he went into the second palace and Krishna welcomed him there as well, doing something else. Third place he went, Krishna was looking into accounts of the house. Fourth place, Krishna was doing the decoration. Fifth place, Krishna was about to take prasadam and Krishna said, this narration is there. These examples are there in Bhagavatam. And then Krishna welcomed Naradji. Oh, I was about to have this. So glad you joined. Come on, please join us. And then they were very happy. Oh, Hari, Hari Bol. And then that was the time then when Naradji realized that accounts Garg, Hari Bol. That was the time when he realized that, oh, Krishna is doing Leelas simultaneously with all of them. And if we remember in the 10th canto, Ras Leela, that's what Krishna did there as well. At the same time, Krishna was there in the middle of all the gopis. So there were two gopis and there was one Krishna in between. And there were two gopis, Krishna was there in between. And every gopi thought that Krishna is only with me. And this is what in the palace, all the queens, they thought as well. Yes, Abhishek ji has given the name for it. अभिषेक जी बता रहे हैं जो हमने डिस्कस किया था कृष्णा के जब शुरू हमने करते हैं एक्सपेंशंस जो हमने देखे थे उसमें सबसे पहला जो आता है स्वयं प्रकाश उसके अंदर कृष्णा खुद अपने रूप में जो मतलब कि एक ही कृष्णा से दो कृष्णा बन जाते हैं ऐसे ही कृष्णा बहुत सारी लीलाएं एक ही समय पे करते हैं एक ही समय पे और so this is one realization I remember I had it the very first time when I realized that material world is only 1/4 and the spiritual world is 3/4. So I thought we have nearly 8 billion people here. So there we will have like 3 more times. Then how could Krishna identify? So for example, my spiritual master, my Guruji is here and he got more than 50,000 disciples. So I don't get the chance to meet him. He might not even remember me if you will see, because there are so many devotees and disciples always serving him. Then he might not be able to recognize me that if I'm doing anything. But then if I will go to spiritual world, how Krishna will recognize me because the population is so much. But then again, because Krishna have these kind of potencies that Krishna could be everywhere simultaneously and Krishna could only do it. No one else could do it. So thank you so much, Rahul ji, for that question. जो हमने डिस्कस किया कि बिल्कुल एक ही समय पे ये लीलाएं हो सकती हैं और इसके हमने दो उदाहरण देखे एक बार जब नारद जी गए थे और एक बार जब रास लीला के टाइम पे हम देखते हैं कृष्णा के ही अपने होते हैं और जो अभिषेक जी ने कहा स्वयं प्रकाश रूप कि जो भगवान का अपना विस्तरण होता है उसके थ्रू हम समझ सकते हैं हरे कृष्ण थैंक यू सो मच थैंक यू सो मच नीलम माता जी got your email ID I will send you the Goloka chart but always try to get the hard copy because it's quite big on the wall it's quite big and it's quite wide as well so if we have on the wall sooner or later we always discuss things there so thank you so much Hare Krishna so moving forward so this is what we were getting at Shweta Deepa this is there again these things might be a bit hard for us to discuss and understand that there could be a place full of milk but the mention is there that it says it's pure it's full of milk and of course the mention is Shiro Dakshay Vishnu is also there but the milk there and the milk here is very different so because that's there we will see when we will reach to that place maybe Hare Krishna Hare Bol So, but yes, it's very pure, very different. It's in the Goloka Dharma. And yes, I was about to say, it consists of milk from Goloka Surabhi cows. Now, Surabhi cows are very, very, very pious cows. And there are many pastimes of Surabhi cows in Bhagavatam and in many other Puranas. तो श्वेता दीप जो है, श्वेता दीप में जो मिल्क है, जो दूध है, वो शिरोदक्षाय विष्णु जो है वहां पे जो दूध है उससे डिफरेंट है, क्योंकि ये सुरभि काऊ के दूध से निकलता है। और ये जैसे हम कहते हैं जो गाय होती है वो अपने बछड़े को देख के दूध देना शुरू कर देती है, आप दूध निकालने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है। उसी तरीके से यहाँ पे सुरभि काऊ कृष्णा के लिए, कृष्णा के डिवोटीज के लिए दूध देती रहती है, तो उसकी वजह से वहां पे श्वेत दीप बना है। So it's possible. And there is a mention that somebody, even on material world, there is a plan that somebody might try to do it. And of course, there were many objections on it. So I think devotees have stopped this. Abhishek ji says, Brahm Vivitra Purana, it says, yes, that's so true. That there are many more Puranas, but Brahm Vivitra Purana also mentions that Surabhi cows. Surabhi cows, a lot of places mention is there. A lot of places. Vashisht Muni and Vishwamitra, they had a fight between both because of a cow. They also call Kamdhenu cow, the one who gives you everything or anything you like, you desire. So Goloka floats on the Shwetadeep. Now, if in case you are thinking technically how this will happen, but again, remember, it's we say it's a lotus, and the lotus is there in the water, and instead of water, lotus is there on milk. That's how we can understand. And it says only very rare souls can attain this abode. And Nanda Maharaj is a great devotee, and that's the reason he's there. But for us, it's a very long shot, and again, just to understand is very hard. But if you think about it, this is what the Shastras says. Might not be easy for us to understand because we haven't seen it, but it's there. Just because we haven't seen it, a lot of time different people, they haven't seen, like pyramids. I remember I read it somewhere that there was the explorer who always heard about pyramids, but he never saw the pyramids. When he saw the pyramids, then very first time he was jaw-struck. He said, what I read about it and what I'm looking at it, it was completely different. If somebody would have said to me that this is there, I wouldn't have believed it. So even in material world, a lot of time this happens. हम यहीं पे सोच सकते हैं, भौतिक संसार में बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जो कि हम पहली बार देखते हैं तो हम समझ नहीं पाते कि ये कैसे पॉसिबल है। और आजकल तो बहुत सारी चीजें टेक्नोलॉजी के बेस के ऊपर प्रूव होती चली जा रही है। सो हमारे लिए थोड़ा सा हार्ड हो सकता है ये समझना कि भगवान का ऐसा है। But this is what it is. We have discussed the Chatur view. So that's been explained. This is the chart we have seen. But now, very briefly, we will go and we will see the locations of each of them. So Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh. So if we come back here, we see, and let me see if you can, yeah, hopefully you can see the pointer now. So if you see on left, right, so let's say, so we say east, west, north, south. There are 4 different routes, 4 different doors, 4 different forms which are there at each place. So as I was saying, in some South Indian temples, I've noticed that when you depend, and there are 4 routes there. Even at Jagannath Puri, I think they have 4. Jagannath Puri, if you go, there are 4 different ways of entering. But I don't remember at Jagannath Puri if the 4 different forms are there. But other temples I've seen, there is a Surya temple in South India. That's beautiful. And I think that's where I remember that which direction you will enter the temple, the form of the Lord is different. So, and that's based on this very first Chaturvyu. तो भगवान के मंदिर में हम अभी तो ट्रेडिशनली नहीं इतने टेम्पल रहे, लेकिन जो ट्रेडिशनल साउथ इंडिया में टेम्पल हैं नॉर्थ इंडिया में जो टेम्पल थे, क्योंकि नॉर्थ इंडिया में काफी इन्वेजन हुआ है, अरब्स आए, ब्रिटिशर्स आए, तो काफी टेम्पल टूट गए। लेकिन साउथ इंडिया क्योंकि नीचे की तरफ पड़ता है, वहां तक इतना इम्पैक्ट नहीं पड़ पाया। साउथ इंडिया में अभी भी कुछ मंदिर ऐसे हैं जहाँ पे डायरेक्शंस में 4 हैं, 4 डायरेक्शंस में एंट्री है, और किस डायरेक्शन से आप एंटर करते हैं उस डायरेक्शन पे डिफरेंट फॉर्म ऑफ द लॉर्ड मिलेंगे आपको चतुर्व्यूह में से। अगर हम और थोड़ा सा देखें तो जैसे हमने यहाँ पे देखा, तो ये ईस्ट के अंदर वसुदेव है, और ऋग्वेद यहाँ पर है, और धर्म। अभी ऋग्वेद हम देख सकते हैं 4 वेद होते हैं हमारे, वी हैव 4 वेदास, एंड देन वी हैव 4 व्हाट वी कॉल पुरुषार्थास, एंड वी विल सी धर्म, काम, मोक्ष, the earth, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So all those are called purusharthas. Purusharthas are like material benefits. So most of the religions, the Vedas, they propagate that we should do these things. We should get dharma, we should get artha, economics, we should get kama, like material desire, sense gratification, or we should go for the liberation, moksha. So a lot of times the spirituality ends up at moksha. तो ये 4 चीजें कहते हैं जो कि हमारे वेद पुराण के अंदर कि हमें ये लेनी चाहिए, लेकिन जो वैष्णव्स होते हैं वो इसके भी ऊपर होते हैं, इनमें से वो कोई चीज नहीं चाहते। तो लेकिन हर डायरेक्शन में हमें, हर दिशा में ये मिलेंगे, अलग अलग फॉर्म के अंदर भगवान अलग अलग रूप में है। So these 4 divided abodes are enveloped. Now enveloped, as it says, so these are the ones: piety, dharma, wealth, passion, liberation, moksha. So this is what we can understand, and there are many more things we will see. So the significance comes in when we try to understand which form are we getting connected to. A lot of time when we do astrology, in astrology sometimes they ask the questions, and based on the question, based on the interest, we can say which way is better. So astrology is all based on Vedas. So there is another shastra which is completely for astrology. It's called Vedic astrology, and all these stories about moon, Chandrama की जो स्टोरी है, बृहस्पति जी की जो स्टोरी है, उस स्टोरी से हम समझ पाते हैं कि हमारे किस तरीके से काम करते हैं, हमारे जितने भी ग्रह होते हैं, बहुत अच्छे से हम उन चीजों को समझ सकते हैं। तो इन चारों को अगर हम समझ पाए कौन सी डायरेक्शन में है और कौन सा वेदों के हिसाब से है, तो हमें ये भी समझ में आता है। जैसे अभी हमने ऋग्वेद में धर्म के बारे में देखा, ऐसे ही हम चारों डायरेक्शन में देखेंगे, तो इस तरीके से हम समझ सकते हैं कहाँ पे कौन सी इंफॉर्मेशन हमें मिलती है। 4 Vedas, as we said, so Rig, Sam, Yajur, Artha, which deal with the mantras. So a lot of mantras are there. Achievements of the 4-folded mundane requirements. It says mundane. Mundane is one of those things like it's not a very clever thing to get. This is very easy thing to get. मतलब कि कोई, अगर हम एक तरीके से कहें कि जिसको कुछ नहीं मालूम वो ये चीजें चाहेगा। जैसे ध्रुव महाराज का हमेशा याद रहता है कि जब ध्रुव महाराज ने कहा मुझे अपने फादर उत्तानपाद से भी, उत्तानपाद उस टाइम पे सबसे बड़े थे, उनसे भी बड़ा राज्य चाहिए, मतलब जितना बड़ा राज्य है दुनिया में उससे भी बड़ा राज्य चाहिए। लेकिन जब भगवान आए तो फिर उन्होंने भगवान के दर्शन देख के कहे कि आपके दर्शन से जो मुझे मिला है वो उसके कंपैरिजन में जो मांग रहा था मैं, वो ऐसा था कि मैं टूटे हुए कांच मांग रहा था। I was asking for broken glasses. Think of it, the biggest and later on he got it based on his previous karma. He had to enjoy, I think it says 33 or 330 million years he enjoyed, because Krishna said that not now, you enjoy here, you establish the dharma, but you don't come to me just now. And then he had to enjoy so many years, and then he went back. So all these things, 4-fold, are those 4 things, purusharthas, as we say. And then, okay, we will see tridents. These are in 10 different directions. Now 10 different directions. Okay, let's see. I think we are going to see that. And then 8 directions are also there. So we know 8 directions, right? So we have east, west, north, south, and then we have the in between. So we have east. So we have northeast, then we have east, south, then we have southwest, then we have west north. So there are 8 directions, but then we also have up direction and down direction. What's written here? Zenith and Nadir. And then in the 8 directions, we have the jewels. And so these jewels are also, the mention is there. Mahapadma, Padma, Sankhya, Makra. And not here, but what these are, what are the qualities of these, they are also mentioned. And all the jewels we get here, they in the material world, they fall into different categories. Like you might have heard of Pukhraj. Pukhraj is one, Ember is another one. So all these, they fall into, if you go to the bigger category, they all fall into one of these jewels category. So these are the top categories. Then all the jewels we have in the material world, they follow one of them. For example, we all are the sons of rishis, Sapt rishis. So if we follow upwards, we will find out which rishi we are part of or which rishi we belong to. हम किस ऋषि के लीनेज में हैं, किस ऋषि की परंपरा में पैदा हुए हैं, हम वो देख सकते हैं. इसी तरीके से भौतिक संसार में जो भी मणि हमें मिलती हैं, हमने पुखराज का नाम सुना होता है और बहुत सारी हैं, हम कुछ पहनते नहीं हैं, लेकिन बहुत सारे ऐसे होते हैं, रूबी पहनते हैं लोग, पुखराज पहनते हैं. तो वो उनकी, अगर हम टेक्निकली देखें तो उनकी कैटेगरीज होती हैं, और वो कैटेगरीज अगर हम देखेंगे तो वो कोई भी एक मणि होगी, वो इन 8 में से एक को बिलोंग करती होगी. तो ये वहां पर भगवान के पास में जो मणियां, भगवान की एनर्जी से ही वो मणियां बनी हैं, वो मणियां निकली हैं. और इसी तरीके से हमने 10 दिशाओं की बात करी, तो हम जैसे ईस्ट, वेस्ट, नॉर्थ, साउथ करते हैं, उत्तर, पश्चिम, दक्षिण, पूर्व, पश्चिम. इनके बीच की भी होती हैं, तो 4 बीच की और एक ऊपर एक नीचे, ऐसे करके 10 दिशाएं हम कहते हैं. तो जब घर के अंदर हमारे पूजा भी होती है, तब भी हम जब देवी देवताओं को बुलाते हैं तो 10 दिशाओं से बुलाते हैं. So it's very good if you understand these things, but a lot of details are there, so we might not able to get to all. 10 protectors. It's okay. Let's see. We will see very soon. The associates of hues of blue, yellow, red, and white. This is also we will see. Next one, yeah. Now, if you have the Goloka chart, we will see here. So we have, this is what we call trident, Trishul. So भगवान का त्रिशूल है हमारे वहां पे, और मणियां हैं वहां पे. कौन सी मणि किस डायरेक्शन में है, कौन सी मणि किस त्रिशूल की, क्योंकि त्रिशूल है जो कि प्रोटेक्शन के लिए होता है. Okay, let me put another one. Yes. 10 tridents are fixed in the 10 directions all around the spiritual world to prevent Mayavadis from entering. Trishul, 3 modes. तो त्रिशूल के अंदर 3 जैसे हमारे गुण होते हैं, तो वो 3 गुणों को, क्योंकि हम स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड, आध्यात्मिक जगत में तभी पहुंच पाएंगे जब हम इन तीनों गुणों के परे हैं. तो ये त्रिशूल इस चीज को ध्यान रखता है कि हम जब वहां पे जाएं, जो भी वहां पे जाए, तो उसके अंदर वो तीनों गुण नहीं बचेंगे, तभी हम जा पाएंगे. और यहाँ पे मायावादियों के लिए कहा है, थोड़ा सा हैवी होके कहा है कि उनके लिए है, लेकिन ये सभी के लिए है. हम ऐसा कह सकते हैं कि भाई एक तरीके से सभी मायावादी हैं जो कि भगवान के सच्चे भक्त नहीं है, और धीरे धीरे भगवान की भक्ति में हर इंसान लगा है, तो धीरे धीरे प्योर होगा. तो जो मायावादी हैं, भगवान उनको भी करें. मायावादी कौन होते हैं? इफ इन केस वी हैव डाउट who is considered as mayavadi, the ones who don't consider the form of the Lord to be the supreme. They consider the impersonal form of Krishna as the supreme. So जो ऐसे होते हैं जो निरावादी होते हैं, निराकार होते हैं, जो ये मानते हैं कि भगवान की शक्ति से भगवान का रूप निकला है. लेकिन जो भक्त होते हैं वो ये मानते हैं कि भगवान के रूप से भगवान की शक्ति निकली है. जैसे हम बात करते हैं, जैसे आग है, आग में से ज्योति निकलती है, आग में से ऊर्जा निकलती है. सो द फायर गिव्स बर्थ टू द लाइट एंड द हीट. If you see the light of sun, you know there is a sun, right? If you feel the heat, you know the heatness is coming, there must be some source of fire somewhere. So the energy of the Lord is there, that means Lord is there somewhere. So that's how we understand. But Mayavadis, they take it other way around. Yes.
Prabhuji, the Gnanis, they aspire for the Brahman realization, isn't it?
Yes.
So would they are the impersonalists, so they wouldn't be Mayavadis, isn't it?
Yes, true, Mataji. So
Okay.
your question is very valid. Sorry. Your question is very valid that there are actually there are different types of, it is Mayavadi, there are also Brahmvadi. So when we say impersonalists are those who don't consider the person, Krishna as the person as the top.
Yeah.
And then, but within impersonalists, there are many different ones. And then Mayavadis are one of them.
Okay.
Yes. So not all the in English, not all the impersonalists are Mayavadis. Some are Brahmvadis.
Okay. Thank you.
So yes, there are 10 protectors of the 10 directions in the form of mantra. This is why it says illegal entry. Even we do it now. We do Narsimha Kavach. Well, actually, one of the Prabhuji who was just calling me, he was here in London, and he's a devotee, and he has gone to Dubai now for work, but maybe he will relocate there. And he called me that he's setting up the office there. So he would like to do the Narsimha Kavach Yagya in his office in Dubai. So because I was in Dubai, so I was lucky enough to be associated with devotees. So I've requested a Prabhuji to do it, but he was just calling me. And so this is what we do. Why do we do Narsimha Kavach? Why we do, so there are many different ones we do, but Narsimha Kavach seems to be the most prominent, especially Narsimha Chaturdashi recently went. So this is, all these mantras, they are for their protections, for our protections, or for somebody else's protection. When we do the home yagya, then also we do the protections. This is what we are saying, that all of them, they appear in the shastras, and they are there in the spiritual world also. So the source is spiritual. And Abhishek ji says, Mayavadis consider the roop of the Krishna as the form of Maya. Yes, illusion, Maya. They don't consider Krishna's form as an eternal thing, which is an offense. Haribo. Yes. So अभिषेक जी कह रहे हैं कि जो मायावादी होते हैं, तो सबके अंदर मायावादियों को सबसे बुरा मानते हैं. प्रभुपाद जी ने बहुत क्रिटिसाइज किया है, और रीजन यही कि जो अभिषेक जी कह रहे हैं कि क्योंकि वो ये मानते हैं कि भगवान का जो रूप है वो भी असली नहीं है, वो टेम्परेरी ही था. तो वो भगवान के लिए थोड़ा सा नहीं, बहुत बड़ा अपराध हो जाता है. इसलिए हमारी कोशिश रहती है हम एक्चुअली उसके बारे में बात ही ना करें, क्योंकि हाँ, अगर ऑब्वियसली किसी को एजुकेट करना है तो अलग बात है, लेकिन भक्त लोग अगर भक्ति की बात करें तो अभी एक चैतन्य चरण प्रभु जी का पॉडकास्ट है, जो कौन से प्रभु जी के साथ है, मैं भूल गया उनका नाम. आई थिंक वो मायापुर में मूव हो गए हैं प्रभु जी, वैसे यहीं के हैं, यूरोपियन हैं, मायापुर में मूव हो गए हैं. तो वो अपना एक्सपीरियंस बता रहे थे जब वो इंडिया गए और यहाँ पे. So for Chaitanya Charan Prabhuji doing monk podcast on YouTube, and recently he did the interview, and in the interview, what the other Prabhuji said, he said, and he's very senior, he's living in full time in Mayapur, and what he said, that a lot of time devotees, they try to keep themselves away from Maya, and that's the reason they are always thinking about Maya, right? But our focus should be towards Krishna, because we would like to be in Krishna consciousness. So rather than thinking, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, I don't want to go for movie, I don't want to go for a picture, I don't want to talk to Mayavadi. If the focus is towards Krishna, then we will say, oh, let's go for the movie, but let's watch Krishna movie, right? And let's go for the picnic, but let's go with devotees who will do Krishna Katha. Right? And let's talk to Mayavadi, but let's talk to Mayavadi about Krishna. Then everything will become Krishna conscious rather than everything. When we are talking about Mayavadi, then we are not Krishna conscious, we are Maya conscious. So Narayan Kavach, yes, Mataji, thank you so much. Narayan Kavach is also there, which we do very nicely, and it's very protective. Well, I always say, even when we chant those things, we feel protected. The Sanskrit, the language itself is so powerful when we chant. So I had this, we were just listening to this Mahamantra. This is, so a lot of classical, I think it must be from South India, Vande Guru Paramparam. And all the kids, they are singing so nicely. So my kids were there at the back and they were listening, and didn't take long, and the kids, they started singing along with them. So no one asked them to do it, but this is the power of association and mantra. When you just hear, you get absorbed in it. So yes, these kavach, they are very nice, and that's another reason we do the aartis. We keep reminding ourselves. So thank you so much, Abhishek Prabhuji. Yes, we should. All right, we have 4 more minutes left. Okay, maybe I will just show the next slide and then we will start from there. But yes, again, the powers are there. But again, all these things are there in spiritual world. What do we want to go to the spiritual world for this, or do we want to go to a spiritual world for the love of Krishna? The again, जहाँ पे हम हैं, वहां पर अगर हम सोचें, जहाँ पे कृष्णा है वहां पे प्रोटेक्शन है ही, और प्रोटेक्शन के कुछ रीजंस हो जाएंगे, जैसे कि प्रोटेक्शन के लिए भगवान कृष्ण ने किसी दूसरे भक्त को, जैसे अर्जुन को बहुत सब कुछ दिया कि अर्जुन सबको मारे, भीष्म पितामह सबको मारे, ग्लोरिफिकेशन उनकी हो रही है कि कृष्ण नहीं मार रहे, कृष्ण ने बिल्कुल वेपन ही नहीं उठाया, उन्होंने ऐसा वचन ले रखा है, लेकिन उन्होंने अपने भक्तों की ग्लोरिफिकेशन के लिए अपने भक्तों को ये कह रखा है कि भाई अर्जुन आप मारो, अर्जुन ने मारा, किसने, कौन सर्वश्रेष्ठ धनुर्धर अर्जुन, कौन है भीष्म पितामह जिन्होंने अकेले ही, अगर वो नहीं मरते तो जीतना ही मुश्किल था पांडव से. So Krishna gives all this to others, and there are many reasons how these things are happening, and this is what it is. So right, so I will just show the next slide. This is what we'll discuss from next time, a bit of Chaitanya Leela. So we have Krishna Leela about Goloka Dham Krishna, but then we will discuss a bit about Chaitanya Leela, what we also call Gaur Leela, because Gaudiya, we say Gaudiya Mat because Gauranga, Lord Chaitanya was referred as Gauranga. So let me stop it here. If anyone has any questions, any query, anything we can discuss, or even later. I hope everyone is part of the group. Please make good use of the group so we can do it. Oh, so sorry. अभी मैंने देखा संजीव जी, आपने YouTube के अंदर कमेंट कर रखा है हिंदी में ज़्यादा बोलने के लिए. सो सॉरी, मैंने अभी आपका मैसेज चेक किया. YouTube के ऊपर लाइव जो आता है उसके अंदर कोशिश रहेगी कि और हिंदी में करें, लेकिन कोशिश रहती है जो भी इंग्लिश में होता है उसको हम साथ में हिंदी में भी करें, है ना. तो चलिए, थैंक यू सो वेरी मच. If anyone doesn't have any questions or comments, Hari Bol, then let's close it here with Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev Maharaj ki jai, Samved Bhakt Vrind ki jai, all glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Jai Shri Radhesh ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for your presence. Looking forward to see you next week.